I don't know how we're gonna be able to afford this vacation. I've been looking all night. The costs just keep adding up. Every time I look, it's more expensive. I'm honestly about to pull my hair out. Does this sound like you? You finally agreed on a place you wanna go. You've been saving all year to make the budget. You got off work, you got off school, but then when you go to actually book the trip, nothing is lining up and the cost keeps going up and up and you're not fitting it in that budget. It's so frustrating. So you either one, throw it on a credit card, or two, call it quits and just go visit grandma again for your family vacation this year. At least she will make you food and watch your kids while you take a nap. But it's not really the vacation you had in mind. And you need a real vacation like this year. So what if, when you were doing that planning, instead of spending hours trying to save $10 here, $50 here, you could just save $1,000 in one fell swoop. Psh, right? That doesn't sound like a real thing. But seriously, this is the power of backwards travel planning. Instead of finding the deals to make your vacation fit your budget, you find a great deal to start with and go from there. Here's what I mean. Say you want to go to Cancun, Mexico.
So you start looking for a resort because that's where you hear it's the best in Cancun. All-inclusive food, drinks, the most beautiful beaches. That is where you want to go.
But they're kind of expensive. So you decide you're going to do some digging. So you head over to a different site.
You spend some time surfing the web for a better hotel deal, and you actually do find it for about $20 a night cheaper. Great. So you're going to spend another few days looking, and you actually do find it for another $10 a night cheaper. But while you were looking to find that deal, the cost of your flights just went up $50 a person.
So you're going to have to figure out that somewhere else in your budget that's going to have to go. So maybe you change. Maybe instead of resort, you do a hotel instead. Let's check that out.
So you go back to searching, and you do find a hotel is a lot cheaper, but then you run into a problem. That all-you-can-eat food and drinks was included with the resort, but not a hotel, as well as all the activities you wanted to do. So now, what really is cheaper, the resort or the hotel? Plus, while you spent that time looking for hotel instead of resort, the cost of flights just went up another $100 a person.
Okay, when I backwards travel plan, I usually find flights to Europe for about $500 to $700 per person. So for a family of four, that ends up being $2,000 to $2,800 together for flights. That's an extra $2,800 to $3,200 saved in flights alone. That's a whole other vacation. Or a sizable mortgage payment. It takes me only about an hour to book these flights, plus the stress of the planning, which can be completely overwhelming, gets replaced for excitement about the trip and the amazing deal that you're finding also. Because these are vacations you maybe thought you previously couldn't afford. Okay, new idea. This isn't gonna work. How about one of those dude ranches in Montana? That should be way cheaper than Mexico, right? Where you go as a family and ride horses and spend time in the mountains. Okay, let's do that instead.
You start looking into it, and it's actually looking really awesome. It's only about $100 per person, which is a lot cheaper than Mexico.
But once you start adding in meal fees and drink fees and access to the horses fees, oh, and maybe some activities so you're not just riding the horses the whole week, it actually becomes really expensive, maybe as much as Mexico or more. And this was supposed to be your cheap option. How does this even happen? So you end up going in circles. You're trying to find a deal. You're changing ideas, you're changing vacations, you're finding different sites, and yet everything is just getting more and more expensive, and you're getting more and more stressed. A vacation is supposed to be relaxing, and you're wanting to die just in the planning stage before you actually end up getting there. Your problem isn't that you really suck at finding deals or you're really bad at budgeting. The problem is you don't know how to plan a vacation because no one ever teaches you how to plan a vacation. You are forwards travel planning. And this is what I mean. When we go to plan a vacation, we pick a location, then we figure out when we're gonna go. When can we get work off? When can we get school off? Then we try to fit it in our budget. And when we do that, we're trying to fit a round thing into a square box, and it's painful and it's awkward and it's really hard to stay in that budget when you do it this way. There is a much better way that, one, makes it easily fit in your budget, two, makes you do it faster booking, easier booking with a lot less stress, and three, lets you go to places that you previously before thought you could never afford or would be out of reach dream vacation. And here's what I mean. So how do you exactly backwards travel plan and make this happen? Let's look at an example of forwards normal travel planning, and then we'll break it down. So let's look at a vacation to Europe for a family of 4. The average cost of a flight to Europe is about $1,200 to $1,500 per person. So we're talking $4,800 to $6,000 in flights alone for a family of 4. Then you need about $2,000 for 10 days in a good Airbnb or hotel. Then we need to add in food and local transport and activities and all your other expenses. You can see how this quickly adds up in costs, because this is how we normally forwards plan. Forwards planning is this. You choose a location, you choose when you're gonna go, then you try to make the deals fit around it. Then you cry because it's usually really expensive. Instead, let's look at it another way. When I backwards travel plan, I usually found flights to Europe for about $500 to $700 a person. So our family of 4, we're talking about $2,000 to $2,800 total for our flights. We're already talking savings of nearly $4,000, $3,000 in flights alone. So that's an extra $2,800 to $3,200. Wow, okay, numbers hard. I wrote this down. $2,800 to $3,200 on flights. But that's huge still. That's a whole other vacation or very sizable mortgage payment. That is a lot of money to save like that. And what can you do with that? You could upgrade your hotel. You could add more activities. Maybe you could fly first class if it's a decent upgrade. You could do so much more with that money without stressing about the vacation cost. And that is a big deal. And we can't really discount the mental toll an expensive vacation takes on us. You feel like you have to fit it all in. You feel like you have to enjoy it or else, because you always have that overlooming thought of how much this vacation costs, so you better enjoy it. But when we backwards travel plan, we can have an amazing vacation, enjoy it for what it is, and then go on another vacation soon. So now you know about forwards travel planning, the way you've been doing it, and the way that's painful and expensive to travel plan. So what is backwards travel planning? Let's break it down into the steps, just like we did with forwards travel planning. With backwards travel planning, the first thing you do is let the deals come to you. It cuts out all the searching you have to do, and you're finding something that's automatically in your budget. So step 1, bring the deals to you. Step 2 is just choose the place you want to go to. Out of all these deals, extensive deals that are automatically coming to you, sneeze. Out of all these deals that are already coming to you, which place sounds the funnest to go to? Which vacation is actually the one that you want to go to? That's step 2. Step 3 is just put it together. Book it. That's all that it takes to do. 3 steps. Let the deals come to you, choose the one you do, and then when you book it, you know it's easily within your budget, and it's getting you places that maybe you thought you couldn't afford because you weren't even looking at them, because you assumed they were too expensive to afford to go to. So here's my quick wrap up. Forwards planning is painful, it's tough, because it's hard to get the trip you want, in the timing you want, in the budget you want. But when you backwards travel plan, and you plan with a deal first, everything falls into place. The budget falls into a place, and the vacation will fall into a place in an easy and natural way that makes you go on more vacations for better prices. So, forwards travel planning, not great. Backwards travel planning is the way that I, with my family, as well as many people I've helped plan their own vacations, save thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, literally, on vacations all over the world with big families, on tiny budgets. It's absolutely possible for you to have this sort of vacation when you change this mentality to backwards travel planning and get it to start working for you, okay? Let me know, where would you want to backwards travel plan if you could? And of course, if you found this video helpful, or if you want more specific examples of how to backwards travel plan or how to find great deals on vacations and family vacations, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments below, and I'm happy to make more videos that could be helpful to you. All right, see ya.